first glance, this might look like a very simple, neat little eurorack compatible analog drum machine with 5 voices, a simple sequencer, separate outputs and triggers plus MIDI in and out, and you'd be right. But there's a little more complexity in here that you might not expect. We've got up to 64 steps in 64 patterns. We've got a Euclidian generator per tone, plus you can set the bar length per tone. We've also got Humanization, swing and per step quantize accuracy if you've recorded stuff live. Plus we have a probability parameter called chance, that's similar to the chance on the Voltage Lab 2, and you can either set the percentage chance of each hit on each step, or you can set which specific step will sound on a loop of up to 4 bars of the sequence. So if you're really insane, you could specify exactly which steps hit during which loop of a 64-step sequence. In other words, you've got yourself a 256-step sequence on top of your song mode. So I'm probably going into a little bit too much detail here, but most of all, it's got a lovely, rich analog tone. Let's kick off then by taking a listen to these sounds. We've got a kick, a snare, 2 FM drum tones and a hi-hat. If we put them into live mode there, we can play them. Let's just make this something that we can hear, because that little Casio tone didn't have much of a kick in it. So we got tune in, distortion, or drive, and decay. We don't have access to these parameters via CV. Just a trigger in and audio out. It's very much a live instrument. But it's got a really nice tone to it. Snare. We've got the amount of noise, decay on that noise, and the tuning of the body of the snare itself. So we're not getting tons of parameters on these, but they do tend to fit well together. Let's look at the hi-hats next. It's almost like we've got 2 tones in here, like we've got the closed hat and the open hat on top of it. I'll show you what I mean. So there's the closed. If we go to the open, you can hear the closed in there. That's the decay on the closed. They do choke. If we go back to the closed, got a filter and we've got tuning. Got a really lovely metallic quality to them, haven't they? We can also change the length of that hi-hat if we press edit and open hat length. This value knob's used all the time for doing all sorts of things, especially in the edit menu. But if we hit that, cool. Let's have a listen to the FM ones then. We've got D1 and D2 are identical. Drum 1, drum 2, I guess that is. We've got pitch. Then we can sweep to that pitch, up or down. Let's make it a bit longer, shall we, so we can hear what's happening. Sweeping down and sweeping up. Let's put it on a different tone. There we go. Watch your ears. Wow. So we've got two main shapes here. And let's get it to there. We've got a sine and a square. And we blend between them. And then the fun bit comes with the FM. We can change the FM wave shape using edit. And this, we've got a little bit of bleed coming through there. Let's just turn that down a bit. So I'll show you what the edit page does in a second, but edit and D1 or D2 changes those FM wave shapes. So let's do a little bit of FM. So FM depth. So it goes down to like an LFO. So well into audio rates. So we get all those lovely clangy metallic tones. So if we change the wave shape on that. Let's just keep it on there for now, and then noise. Those lovely little noise shots. So noise and a triangle, noise and a sawtooth, and noise and a square. So loads to explore in there. And D2 is identical. So they're the tones. Let's have a look at how you sequence them. Got two main modes on this. We've got step mode and we've got live mode, but we've also got the edit mode as well. So when we hit this edit button here, we've got human, we've got swing, and we've got quantize. We've got the D1 and D2 waves that we've seen before. And then everything that we can see basically in the sort of pink text, which is to call that pink, or I think my sister will call it cerise. Everything in that cerise is accessed via the edit button there. So if we start off perhaps, let's just do something in step mode. We'll put it in step mode. We'll load a program, so sequence and load. You can see where I've saved programs here. So we'll start with a clear one. So 5's got nothing in it. Okay, if we play that, you can see there's nothing in it. If we press stop, it carries on playing. It's almost like everything's muted, and stop again to reset. So, nice little thing there. So let's go to the kick. So hit the kick. Let's do what, I don't know, something like that. Play. Snare. Close that. Open that. Close that to choke. So everything you might expect there. We can change the length of that up to 64 steps. If we hit edit and then length, so the page button there, we're now in edit length mode, and we can change the length using the value knob. So it's now 17, 18, 19. You can see this has gone to page 2, page 3, or page 4. But if we come back to page 1, we can do this individually for each of the tones. If we turn just the kick on, for example, so the kick could be 17, that's on page 2, or that'll be 19, that's on page 2 still. If we go to the snare now, the snare can be on 16. So if we play that, actually you're not really going to hear much, are you? We put the closed hat perhaps, put the closed hat on. So you can hear the closed hats going out of time now. So each one of them can have anything between 1 and 64 steps. But you can also change the length by extending it. And when you extend it, it fills the empty steps with what you've already written. I'll show you what I mean. So back to 16. To extend that into page 2 and copy that across, we press Edit and Extend, and then take it to the end of page 2. This will now fill in everything from page 1 onto page 2, hopefully. We're on page 2 now, are we? Exit. Yeah, you can see none of those are flashing. So let's do something different on page 2 with it closed. Page 1, page 2. We're up and running in step mode. Let's have a little play with the quantize and humanization. So let's knock it back down to the length to 16. Keep things nice and simple. Let's play with some of these hi-hats then, shall we? Let's put some human input onto the hi-hat. So if we go to Edit, Human, just a closed high, and then change the level there. So a lot of humanization. That's one rubbish drummer. So nice and tight. See the values. Someone that needs lessons or is drunk. To Ringo Starr. He is good at holding a beat. Let's take a look at swing then. Come out of human. Go to swing. Same again. More swing. Whoops, I've just knocked the tempo knob. And a really nice function we've got here is we can take each of the individual steps and we can shift it up to half a beat off its beat. So, come out of edit mode. Let's go to this one here, number 9. Number 9, back to the Beatles. We hold 9 and then we can move it through the beat. So this is exactly on the beat, and then this is a little bit late up to very early to very late. So as I say, half a step each way. So this should be very early now. There you go, make it late. Let's do a little bit with some of them, make them a little bit sloppy. So you can get in, be really, really precise with this if you want. You can just get some really nice grooves doing that. But let's try and put something in live mode. So let's do the hi-hats again. Let's take the hi-hats out. We've done record mode there on step, but we come to live. I've actually played that a little bit too much in time. Let's go back to step and take those out again. Let's try and do something that's very out of time so I can show you how the quantize works. So live. Again, I'm finding it hard to play out of time. Stop. Take those out. Oh, step mode. Take those out. Let's just do one on random, shall we? So we're going to step mode now. These are doing something strange. It actually sounds quite nice. And that one is as well. Quite like that though. Anyway, let's make that, let's quantize it. So come to quantize here. Quantize, and we'll hit, let's just see, 5. Okay, so quantize 5. And we'll quantize it a lot or a little. And maybe 13 and 14 as well. So back into quantize. So this is unquantized. We've got Humanize, we've got Swing, we've got Quantize, we've got that shift, so you can really tweak your groove to get it precisely what you want, as out of time or as in time as you like. We've also got ratchets in here. It's called roll here. Let's put a roll on beat 1 on the hat. So hit roll. There we go. See how many rolls you're going to get there? From 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we can have that separately on each of the steps. No need to hit edit. It works differently when we're in live mode. So we're in live mode. When we hit the roll, we'll see what the roll is going to do in live mode. And this is the instrument we've selected to roll on. So I'm going to press play and hit roll. So from 1 again, 2. So while I'm hitting roll, every time the closed hi-hat plays, we select the snare as well. Next up, we've got chance, and we select edit and chance, as you might expect. So looking at the kick, let's put some chance on the kick on beat 1. So if we hit beat 1, and change the chance on that from every time to never. So the chance it's going to happen. And then here we've got this really interesting thing, which is quite hard to describe actually. If we split this bottom row here into 2 groups, and each of those groups has got 4, and each of those groups indicates 4 things. So basically we ignore all the even keys. So 1, 3, 5, and 7 indicate which loop something's going to play on, and 9, 11, 13, and 15 indicate how many loops there are. And this will make a bit more sense in a second. But if we're on one there, so if it disappears too quickly to demo it very well, but I'll try and describe this. So number of loops is 2, 3, and 4. When we get to there, and what's happening here is showing you which one of those loops the kick is going to play on. So it's going to play on 1, 1 and 2, or 3, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 3, 1, 3, or 2, isn't that? You can see what I mean. It's hard to describe, but you've got 4 indicators there for which of the bars it's going to play on, and you've got 4 indicators there for how many bars it will loop for. And that's when in the intro I said you could almost set it for like a 256 step loop, is because you can go in and you can really precisely tune that, as I say, if you're slightly psychotic. And I could be bothered doing that, but it is there, and it is based on the Voltage Grab 2 does something similar as well. It just means you've got loads of flexibility and you're not stuck there with a static 64 bar pattern. But yeah, and you can do it for each step, and you can do it for each of the individual tones as well. So you could lose weeks doing that if that's what you like to do, but it is there. To save this sequence, go to edit, sequence save, and we can see where the blank ones are. We can go to page 2 as well if we move to the next pages, but let's save it at, I don't know, at 6 random, I know, but there you go, it's saved. So if we go into sequence load, it's there. Next up then, we've got the random pattern generator and the Euclidean generator. They're down here, generate sequence and Euclidean. So if we start off with, let's start off with a clear patch. So to load something, hit sequence as I showed earlier. We'll load 10 in because there's nothing in there. So now we've got nothing playing, stop. We're going to leave record on. If we take record off, the generator sequence is just like a fill really, because it plays once and then reverts back to the original. So we'll leave this on and we'll go to generate sequence. Now this works in blocks of 4. If we turn the handle, we see there's the first 4, there's the second 4, there's the third 4, and there's the final 4. These are for, the first four are for unsyncopated rhythms, second four for syncopated rhythms. These are what it calls weirdo rhythms, and these are mathsy rhythms. And the lower the value of those, the less complicated. So that's less complicated, more complicated. So that's a less complicated unsyncopated. That's a complex unsyncopated. This is an uncomplex syncopated. That's a complex syncopated. That's a simple weirdo beat and a complex weirdo beat. Simple mathsy beat and a complex mathsy beat. That was so hard to say for some reason. Anyway, you can pick, as you can with anything on the value knob, you can pick just by using the buttons, but we'll pick an uncomplicated beat for now. Uncomplicated, unsyncopated. Okay, so come out of there, play the beat. Right, okay, so it uses this as a low tom and this, the second drum, as something like a cymbal. So program it accordingly. And it played to the end of the bar, then you notice that, and that's because I hadn't stopped it twice. You stop it once, so it's muted everything. I think I showed this earlier, and you play it again, it'll wait till it gets to the end, start of the bar, before it starts again. But press it twice to reset it. Let's try another. So edit, generate sequence. Let's do a slightly complex maxi rhythm. And let's try a syncopated rhythm. So generate sequence, complex syncopated rhythm. Come out, get to the end of the bar and it'll start. So it's really quite nice, isn't it? And if you don't have the record, as I say, it plays it just the once. So if we try that, in fact, let's put a standard sequence in just so that you can see me put a standard sequence in again. If we go to load sequence, so press sequence, load 10, there's nothing in here. So let's step sequence. So I'm doing something really simple so you can hear the changes, obviously, and then close that. It couldn't get more simple than this, could it? Maybe open hi-hat on the end and another little one there, slightly complex. So that's just a really simple beat so we can hear what the changes are. So play it, records off, generate sequence. Using all of those, let's generate a complex weirdy rhythm. That's off, get to the end of the bar. And it did that little rhythm there. Although I found that it just tends to on that. Maybe it's on purpose, so it works as a fill, but it tends to just go down to the hi-hats. It's not really producing it on the other rhythms. I'm not sure if that's a bug or if it's meant to do that. So if I do it with record on, for example, do the same thing with generate with record on. So it's using all the different tones there. Do it with record off. Let's do that. Oh no, it played the snare there, didn't it? And one of those tom things anyway. So yeah, maybe it's just by chance it was doing lots with hi-hats. Anyway, that's the generate sequence. Now over to the Euclidean sequencer. Again, we'll start with a really simple beat. So go to the hi-hats, edit Euclidean. Let's put record on. So you've got your different amounts of notes that it'll play in a different Euclidean modes or whatever you'd call it. So let's go to full hi-hats. I'm going to come out of this. There you go. Back into Euclidean. Let's have less. Back into Euclidean. We can use the buttons to decide how many we're going to play. So if you want to play 2, it's 2, 4, 7. Back into Euclidean, let's do 12. The 12 it's going to play. Let's do all 16, Euclidean. Come out. So that works independently of the tones, obviously, because we're just doing it with the hi-hat there. So yeah, generative and Euclidean sequences. I think that about covers all the major functions, really. The last one is song mode. If we go into song mode, so edit and clear gives us song mode. We've got one in one already. If we play that, you can see we've got 8 bars in there. And that's playing slightly different rhythms on each of them. Come out of there, back into sequence mode. We're now just playing the sequence over and over. So to program a song, we go to song mode or sequence mode. We want to be in song mode. We want to load song 2 or program into song 2. So we're still in song mode, we're not in sequence mode. So record in, I'm going to record 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. Now, hopefully that should be in there. So if we play, yeah. (16) 2 bars long, yeah. One bar, 2 bar. Now went to 8 next, didn't we? Then 9. So there you go, that's programmed in. It's that simple. Other things I might not have mentioned yet. Down here we've got internal, MIDI or external. So this is for the triggering from CV or a eurorack. Then we've got MIDI input or internal input, and we can tap the tempo as well. So let's tap the tempo really slow. So that works as well. So I think that brings me to the end. So all in all, I think it's a nice little unit. It's a shame you can't access the parameters via MIDI, but that would massively increase the cost. This is €299 or probably now $399, what with the additional import duties and the like. So hopefully it won't last for too long and we can get it back down to $299. It will make a big difference. Maybe I'll do a video on the tariffs actually, because it's going to make a huge difference between costs in the USA and costs in Europe. But yeah, so shame it's going to cost a bit more in the States, but yeah, I do like it. I think it's a fun little thing. You can get up and running with it really easy. It's got not got a massive range of tones, but what it does really well. And the sequencer itself, there's a lot in there, but it's actually really easy to use. The bit that I found the hardest when I've been using it is just remembering to put it into the edit mode. So for example, if you wanted to put it into generate sequencer and you keep on generating new sequences and then you forget you put it on generate sequence and you hit edit and external, well, it's not going to play anything because it's listening for an external signal. But that's the same with anything else. But that was the only thing I noticed, well, while I've been doing this recording actually. So I shouldn't really mention it because it's not actually an issue. It's just me being a bit of an idiot. So yeah, it is nice. If you do like it, do check on my affiliate links because they really do help to support the channel. Also, do subscribe, do ring that bell because, you know, this is funded by YouTube ads. I sound like I'm begging again. I'll just forget all that. You know all that. Thanks for staying to the very end, and I'll see you next time.